time for our final best of 3 of the afternoon session here at the WCS Korea Challenger League.
We just saw Protoss versus Protoss reign with a 2-0 victory over Yonghwa. Yonghwa didn't stand a chance against the strong SKT1 player, and a few weird decisions in game number 2. Had a bit of anxiety going on there, I guess, getting the second Dark Shrine and also parking his Colossi not really in the most secure location on the map.
Yeah, leaving himself very, very open there. Bit of a mistake, but
Rain is going to be up against Byan or Keen in the next game, so he will definitely face a Terran player in the 3rd round of Code A. And now we're heading into our last best of 3 of the earlier session today. We have another game going on, and this time it is going to be another Protoss versus Zerg. We have Paralyze, the Afro Toss, up against the Zerg player YugiOh for Root Gaming.
Yeah, and this is gonna be his second appearance. Well, he didn't get a televised match though for his first one, but he played last season, did decently.
Yeah, and for YugiOh and also for Paralyze, if you want to see first-person view games of them, where the keyboard is shown and the mouse, you can head over to YouTube and check out their channel KAL.TV. There's a playlist over there, and both of them played at the recent Code A qualifier. Especially YugiOh has a pretty cool video up there, where he was a bit bored in the last game against SC, a Terran player that he faced in the semifinals of his Code A qualifier bracket. Yeah. So if you're interested to watch those games, go to youtube.com/KAL.TV. There they are. And you can also see the Afro Toss playing and how he demolished his opponent in the last game of the series in his final against Genius. But this is now going to be a game where for both of them it really counts, and they want to go into the 3rd round of Code A. Advance to Code S, of course. That's the overall goal for this. But first of all, they have to succeed in the 2nd round of Code A. In the 1st round, YugiOh defeated a Protoss player. He was up against Billowy, and Paralyze had also to deal with the Zerg opponent. He was successful against Boom Boom, so definitely a tough match now for YugiOh.
Yeah, YugiOh...
oh, nice. Finally, his Root Gaming shirt. I like it.
Yeah, it comes in. It looks good. I'm looking forward to this match because Paralyze is someone we haven't seen in the GSL studio just yet. He's got some luxuriously Afro-ized hair. He's known for this. He's known as the Afro Toss to his fans.
YugiOh right now. This is gonna be cool. This guy, I really, really like him. The king of Code A, and back in the last match that Slayer's ever played in the GSTL, he kind of transformed a little bit. He's the mini Hulk. He got so angry. He was just on a roll that day. If he gets into the same fighting spirit, then I fear a little bit for Paralyze. But given the results in the 1st round of Code A, the Protoss player for SKT1 has a pretty good chance against the Zerg player here. Boom Boom definitely not being pushed over, and Boom Boom not even taking a game, not even a map against Paralyze. That says quite a bit.
Oh, well, let's go into game number 1 between these two players. Find out who's going to get that early lead on Daybreak here at the GSL Code A with Calder and Wolf.
The Afro Toss is starting at the bottom left of the map, 20 years old. He's starting for SKT1, and his ID is
SK Telecom T1, Paralyze.
He gets that ID because when you walk up to him and see his Afro, you just can't move for a minute. You're so in shock. You feel paralyzed.
His opponent starts to the top right. The king of Code A, starting for Root Gaming. It is
Root Gaming YugiOh.
He's also 20 years old, and he's a player that I have a lot of respect for. He made the decision to participate in the Code A qualifier instead of participating in WCS North America. Being a member of Team Root Gaming, he had the chance of going to the US. That's one of the things that Sage did. But YugiOh was like, nope, I feel quite confident. I can take this qualifier. I can play in the Code A qualifier. And he succeeded. He did so well in the bracket. It was really something. Watching his games was quite a treat. And now he's here in the 2nd round of Code A. So that's very, very impressive. I want to see if he's able to take down Paralyze now.
Yeah, let's see if we can do that. A good scout here by Paralyze is going to force the pool first. Probably would have seen a pool first regardless, but now he has to do it.
Giving you a bit of history for both of these players. In said Code 8 qualifier, YugiOh was able to take down opponents like Splendid, a Protoss player that he faced in the quarterfinals. He moved to the semis where he took out SC, as mentioned earlier, with a 2-1, and faced another Terran player in the finals. Against Harrier, he also edged out 2 wins and advanced to the first round of Code A, where he took down another Protoss player with Billowy, a player for the MVP team. On the other hand, you have Paralyze's opponent, and Paralyze also participated in the Code A qualifier. He played only against Protoss players, only mirror matchups in all of his games, took down opponents like Classic Prime, and in the finals then later on a Genius.
Which he barely was able to defeat. It was a crazy series.
It was an intense series, but in the end, Paralyze succeeded, advanced to Code A, and in his first round he took on Boom Boom, a former Prime player, very strong as Zerg, so both of them already played this matchup in the first round.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to seeing what style we're going to see from Paralyze in this matchup. We've seen mostly this matchup dominated by Stargate openings when people are going for Forge Fast Expands. Hardly anybody going for any Sentry drops or any sort of Immortal pushes anymore. It's just fallen out of style.
There's also some of those things that you can say a little bit about YugiOh, talking about style just in general. He's one of those players that for a long time was always trying to play a little bit cute and had very surprising strategies. He was not afraid to just drop a hatch at his opponent's natural, block it, and then maybe even go for a few Spine Crawlers or extra Queens over there, depending on the situation. Nowadays, he plays a lot more solid, and he's just... YugiOh's just a boss. Yeah, I love him. He's not on the same level as a lot of other Zerg players that we have in Korea. There are players like Life and Lenog that kind of steal the show all the time, but YugiOh is a very solid opponent and a very strong player. So I feel that we have a pretty cool game in our hands now.
Yeah, we'll see how well he can perform. I have a feeling that Paralyze is going to give him a lot of trouble. And we're about to see what sort of build Paralyze will show. Great Overlord scouting pattern here by YugiOh. He's got an Overlord ready to go into the main, ready to go into the natural at any moment. All you guys do is say the word. And he's going to wait, of course, just a little bit longer so he can go in and see it without losing his Overlord and wasting it.
I agree with you, by the way. I'm very interested to see what Paralyze is going to do here. He's one of the players that I didn't see too much yet in Starcraft 2. Just a few games that he's played so far. We have for YugiOh a very, very early Roach Burn here, even for the 6-minute mark.
Yeah, like at 5:40 or so he drops it, and this could be for an attack.
He doesn't really have a lot of gas though. And we have him with 3 gas, so up to the point where the Roach Run will be done, he will have enough. It looks like he's going to move out. He has double Overlord now in production, so he will have the extra supply that he needs. Stays at 35 Harvester supply.
Here's the Stargate for Paralyze, meanwhile.
Roaches, go.
4 Lings first, and there come the Roaches, 6 of them.
There come the Roaches, and we have now the Stargate play. The question is, how many sentries will Paralyze build?
And he's gonna scout some Roaches coming out of these eggs, actually, if he sticks around long enough. So this is a really important pressure move for him, because if he sees those Roaches, all he has to do is add an extra cannon or 2, and he's going to be comfortable. He sees them now.
YugiOh has to do some damage with this. He cannot just use this as a passive play, because he sacrificed quite a lot of lava. And you can now see him walk across the map with the Roaches. He wants to do a pressure, and immediately the first thing that Paralyze does upon scouting it is dropping cannons, and most important of all, getting sentries.
Yeah, he gets the Robotics Bay as well here, so he can start Immortals very soon.
But you know,
the Overlord's going to scout this.
Yeah, the thing is, like, as long as he takes the Forge and maybe even the Cybernetics Core, that's completely fine.
Yeah, Cybernetics Core not done his Warp Gate research just yet, and if he targets it, he may be able to kill it before it's ready.
And YugiOh only gets those few units out. That's all that he did. After this, he immediately started the lair tech and also went straight into the drone production again.
Looks like Paralyze is getting geared up to do a follow-up attack after this. He's going to chase the Overlord away with 1 Phoenix. Starts another Phoenix though.
And YugiOh didn't do any damage. Like, the only damage that YugiOh caused is the reaction of Paralyze. So he didn't try to snipe anything. We didn't see an attempted snipe on the Forge or the Cybernetics Core, but at least he forced Paralyze to get additional cannons out there and warp units in.
We have Immortals on the way for Paralyze right now, and it looks like he is just going to stop Phoenix production here and go for an attack with 2 Immortals, +2, and 6 Gateways, and this could kill YugiOh. He wants to be able to kill as many of the Overlords as he can, especially so that he can deny any scouts of this. Oh, could be also the 2 Immortal to Colossus push.
Okay, first of all, I really like how YugiOh plays it with the Burrow upgrade and also the Hydra in. What he does not do well, though, is the Overlord management. He lost too many of them, and he started the Overlord production too late, so he is supply blocked now heavily. It took in it, like, now the supply block is gone, but he was supply blocked for the entire duration of an Overlord. So that was definitely an oversight.
Yeah, he's going to lose another Overlord here. He's going to find himself in a similar situation. Not as bad. Well, this is just weird. I don't know why he picked that up. Third Phoenix here.
That is completely useless. Well, second one. Can he take it over the second attempt?
It's going to be close. The Hydras are coming out. That's the problem.
Oh, the Hydra's on attack, though. Oh, that could have... he could have saved them.
Yeah, now he loses both Hydras. Bit sloppy here for just a moment by YugiOh.
Yeah, that was not his best play there. But still, he's going into the Spire now. Korean Zerg players have a tendency of completely ignoring Vipers in this matchup.
I could not agree more. They're not into it.
It's something that we see quite often in the foreign community, and a lot of foreign players are really successful with this. But Koreans go
usually only go
into Spire and Corruptors.
Yeah, and usually they go for Vipers only when they're facing like a heavy airplay or Void Race, for example, to pull the Void Race into Queens.
Hyun and Symbol play a lot with Vipers if they get the chance, but most of the players that we see in Code A, I should be a little more specific when I say this, most Code A players that we've seen so far still go into the Spire play. Hyun and Symbol and other Code S players, they are a bit more open to the Viper play in general. But still, 4 bases right now for YugiOh, still pretty safe here. With the Spire, he can work against his opponent's Colossi. But there is a 3rd base coming up for Paralyze, so YugiOh could have chosen to go into the infestation pit.
More gateways going down for Paralyze, who decides to take a 3rd. Twilight Council's lining up here decently with his upgrades, and when the +2 armor finish, or the +1 armor finishes, he can start +2 attack.
Oh, 12 Mutalisks.
This is pretty sneaky, and Paralyze doesn't know about this.
He could then find himself in a very similar situation as Trap. With the Mutalisk count now, we have no additional cannons. We don't have Blink. That's something that Trap already had. This is gonna work, Wolf.
I think so, and he just lost a lot of hit points on his Phoenixes, the low Phoenix count he has. A bit surprised he actually tried to pick those Hydras off, almost lost a lot of his Phoenixes. The Mutalisks have not been scouted at all. They're going to totally blindside him in the main base. And you're absolutely right, Keldor. I think this is going to do a heavy amount of damage. Blink is just only starting now. He's starting to realize...
There's no Observer, there's no nothing. Oh, this is gonna devastating. He's losing a lot of Harvesters here. Entire main base open. Oh, he could snipe one of those Colossi. He might even be able to get both here. The Stalkers have no chance of walking up there to defend. They have no Blink.
They have no Blink. They cannot walk. There's too much stuff in the way. The second Colossus is basically dead. He is trapped a little bit here by the Phoenixes, but he should be able to get one with the bounce. He does.
He's getting even more of them if you micros this correctly. This is great for YugiOh, and now he's on 4 bases. He has 8 gas. He's trying to completely overwhelm his opponent, and you know, unlike to what we've seen from Curious earlier, this time this is going to work.
Yeah, and he's going into Hive, in fact, so he's going to be able to continue his tech beyond this if he needs to. And he wants to snipe Blink here, I think. I don't think he'll be able to with all the Stalkers here, but he can damage the Twilight Council and come back.
YugiOh has paralyzed by the balls right now.
Yeah, Paralyze is paralyzed.
Exactly. He's in the main base. He has to sit tight on these 3 bases. He can't do anything for quite some time. But he's getting now the Fleet Beacon. And then the Fleet Beacon offers him the Anion Pulse Crystals. And with those, he will be able to use those Phoenixes that he has to do a lot of damage. His problem is that his opponent, YugiOh, is already on 4 bases, is getting his entire tech up. So YugiOh has a really good grasp on the game now.
And the Phoenix count is still not very high. There's not enough cannons here. He needs to use the Mothership Core. He needs to keep his Phoenixes alive. You know, the Mutalisks are just going to destroy anything they get their hands on.
He's getting more and more Mutalisks. He has to be careful, though, that because the Fleet Beacon can change that. But he's getting a 5th base. He knows that there might be a point in the game where he can't do anything with the Mutalisks anymore. So he's already preparing for that by getting a better economy, getting his upgrades out. Exactly, the Hive tech, thank you.
Yeah, and he's going to be able to switch into different composition. Maybe even Ultruist in the late game. It comes to that he's starting to get his +1 Carapace. He's actually doing triple upgrades right now for his units, so he can switch into anything he likes.
He's nearly maxed out. He's working up a bank. Mutalisk are going in. Oh, nice. Gets one of those Phoenixes. Every Phoenix here hurts. Every Phoenix that Paralyze loses is definitely a big thing for him.
He scouts the hive here with the hallucination, which I like that he goes and checks for that. I do not believe he saw the Greater Spire. The Phoenix died before that happened. So he's not going to know that Broodlords could potentially be on the menu. We also have the Locust upgrade coming down.
We have the Onion Pulse Crystals done in just a second, and that's the time when the Phoenixes will take those units apart. The Locust upgrade, though, is awesome. I like this. He's getting every upgrade in the book and all the techs, triple upgrades here, a massive amount of spine crawlers, and he still has his 1,600 minerals.
Yeah, these probes are so dead.
He's going to try now to trade as cost efficiently as possible.
Kills the Phoenix with this as well, almost.
As soon as the Phoenixes are back, he will realize that he's heading in trouble here. So that's when he's probably going to trade as well as he can.
Yeah, he sees the Pulse Crystals, and he can't really run anymore.
He could take those Colossi. No, the Stalkers are there.
He's trading pretty well against the Phoenixes. He's holding his own here.
The problem is that there are not a lot of Phoenixes out there. Yeah.
Stalkers with Blink now.
Yeah, and now he's being chased away. That's a fight that he can't take. He has to retreat with the Spine Crawlers. And this is a position where Paralyze can't possibly attack.
No, absolutely not. Not into that. He can attack into the base, though, to the bottom right.
Yeah, that's
exposed, and this is one thing he can get.
That's exactly where he's headed right now. But a second Spire coming up. YugiOh wants to go for double upgrades. He wants to go for a transition, and here we come with the... He's going into the Corruptors now, and this is so smart, because with the Corruptors, he can now start this dance once again against the Phoenixes. This is a really smart play by YugiOh, even running over to the third base now.
Yep, Stalkers want to blink back here. He's going to be able to pick off some of these Corruptors, it looks like, if he micros well. Phoenix has even come back here. He's really running everything back, so this actually saves the 5th base of YugiOh right now.
YugiOh is on 10 gas now. It's a great game for the Root Gaming player.
A great game indeed. The supply is relatively even right now, but look at the bank of YugiOh. He's just trying to decide exactly how he wants to spend it. I think he's going to maybe go into Broodlords. He starts them now. He still has to deal with, of course, this heavy ground army, and it's got a lot of support.
It's a strong army that Paralyze has on the map. His problem is really just that he needs to catch up in overall upgrades, and the more time we have here for YugiOh, the better his upgrades will be. He has the better bank. I love this Warp Prism though. This is going to do so much, and this is the time where YugiOh has to be very careful.
Now YugiOh is going to lose a lot of his Overlords here to the Phoenixes as well, as he just kind of flies around. More and more Zealots warping, and he needs more than just Lings to defend against this.
Really good job by Paralyze here. I like it.
I would have liked to see him target down the Infestation Pit instead of trying to fight the Lings. But he's going to kill his base potentially now. There's nothing over here.
Yeah, he's playing a really great game. Paralyzed, that is. He's trying to come back into this match, and he's doing a really good job. But those units that YugiOh always sends over to the third base, they are really starting to do some damage.
The upgrade lack on his ground army means that he's having some trouble killing this Nexus. He may barely get it, but you can just see he only has +1 for these range units, so it takes so long.
Yeah, I don't think he will be able to get it.
Just barely?
No. 44 hit points left. But the Zerglings that are heading over, they might be able to do the job, unless there is a perfect wall.
He walls pretty nicely here.
Yeah.
29,
24. No, not quite.
I think he will be able to get it though. He could send even his mutas over there and just slap it.
The supply is even, Wolf, and the bank is gone for YugiOh. He's completing the second set of upgrades. Recall with the mothership.
Desperate, but you know, desperate times call for desperate measures. YugiOh is building the better composition in most ways, but the Tempest, they're starting to come out. And it's hard to believe Paralyze has done all of this off just 2 Stargates.
Yeah, Paralyze is now in a position where he has something against the Tempest. He is actually in a spot where he can take this, but YugiOh is once again working up this bank. It's kind of incredible to see him just banking up this much money.
And at any moment in time, YugiOh can switch into Swarmhost. He has the upgrade for the Locust. He's getting triple upgrades for his units, so you know the Locusts already have their upgrades.
This is one of the most dangerous things that the Zerg player can do to you. These constant tech switches, and it might be exactly what we are going to see from the Root Gaming player. Here come the first few Swarm Hosts. He needs a lot more if he wants to put a lot of pressure on his opponent. And there they are.
10 of them coming out here, and yeah, there are some Tempests, but he's going to need Storms, which is a bit late here. He can have Locusts coming to his base far before the Storm is going to be ready.
A 4th base for the Protoss might pose a problem for YugiOh, though. We've seen these massively upgraded late-game compositions for Protoss do so well against late-game Zerg. Queen count is at 4. We have a lot of Infestors though, and more Swarmos are coming. Ah, he doesn't see it. He does not see the War Prism. He can't counter it with the Mutalisk that we see.
He should be able to do it in just a second though. This is a little bit weird. He doesn't actually target anything with Zealots.
Now we have it. The Queen is even moving in.
Yeah, should be fine now.
This could be a very long game, Wolf.
I think so. We see the few meters go down here, but he's losing some of the Phoenixes as well.
Look at
Gets
those
the Queen.
The upgrades. 3 now coming in. As a Zerg player, that he doesn't get them.
There's too much shields.
The wall is just too good, and YugiOh should have realized by now that Zerglings won't cut it here. He needs to send in Roaches or a few Hydralisks.
This base gets shut down again. YugiOh he's starting to feel the hurt on his economy.
But he has the army here. Here come those Locusts. Nice safety infestation bit. Locusts are on their way. We have Corruptors in the mix.
Yeah, and Locusts are free. So, you know, the economy situation that he's under right now is not going to be affected by this. He's going to start to need to make Vipers.
That would be the hero Queen. The Queen walks over and just last hits the Nexus. Wouldn't that be awesome?
That would be amazing, but he does go for the gateway wall now.
Yeah, and that will save it.
I think he should start to add a few Vipers in here because he is going to need something to grab onto those Tempests.
Vipers would definitely be a good choice. That's something that he will most likely do very soon. But for now, he's just focusing on the upgrades. And he has a scary amount of upgrades out there. Even the +3 attack upgrade now for his air units and getting the armor upgrade. He doesn't cut any corners here. He's going all out with this upgrade count.
These Templar are just totally exposed here. He gets several of them. That was a huge mistake.
Oh, the fungal!
Oh, he's bungled underneath the spine. Second fungal goes down, and that is the end of those.
Yeah, the Templars, they can kiss this game goodbye.
The Lings are really desperately trying to kill this Nexus. I mean, as desperate as it gets.
I don't understand why he's still sending Zerglings, and he should have realized by now this is not going to work.
Well, I think it actually may work this time.
One cannon? Yeah, you're right. My bad. Okay.
Well, I mean, it shouldn't have, but Paralyze was not looking at that moment.
When did he sneak through? He took down the Zealot, right?
He went around the left side, killed the Zealot, and then just was able to get through that way.
I'm surprised that he got this. Paralyze was doing so well so far, but okay.
I mean, I think if Paralyze paid attention, he would have definitely saved it.
Eating my own words here, YugiOh with the 3rd or 4th wave of Zerglings able to take down the Nexus. That was quite a huge deal. Now only mining from 2 bases. The mineral patches in the main base are nearly depleted.
Now, Paralyze is struggling to find an angle of attack here, and his bank is only in gas. He has a few mineral patches left to mine from, of course, at his natural and, of course, at that 4th base. That's the most important part. I like this Blink Scout.
He can't really find an angle where he can engage this position. And I don't blame him. This is so difficult for him to pull off.
This is such a cool little infested Terran defense. I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like that since Fruit Dealer. He just drops a ton of infested Terrans. The Zealots are like, well, I guess I gotta come back later.
Mutalisk on patrol, and the Locusts are doing a little bit of damage, and that is definitely going to be too much over time. So this is a really good position for YugiOh, but he needs to try to get closer to this 4th base to apply the pressure.
Yeah. +3 done for Broodlords in just a moment. More Infestor defense here. The Infestor count is getting, you know, Wings of Liberty style high.
And Paralyze trying to find a better angle here. The Broodlords are in a good position. Here come those Locusts once again, and the Corruptors are trying to get close enough to the Tempest.
Good storms here. Of course, he doesn't get a ton of damage done, but he forces those Corruptors back. The Locusts are just free, and they start to take their toll. They get a unit here, a unit there, kill a Stalker, kill a Templar.
If Paralyze is able to take all these bases, he has quite the endurance to take this game. YugiOh earlier on had quite the lead, but now he's actually losing his edge a little bit. He's getting all the upgrades that are there, but that's also true for Paralyze.
And good targets here on the Templar. Not able to quite get any of those, but that's what he wanted to do.
This is so difficult for Paralyze to engage this position. So many Spine and Spore Crawlers, the Swarm Host in the middle. There's only so much that he can do. And now we have the trade with the Mutalisk. He might have like a few Mutalisks left later on to just make sure that there's no drop play going on, but I don't think that the Mutalisks themselves will take part in the actual fight.
Yeah, I mean, he's also going to be able to use his Corruptors to deny drops, so it'd be good to trade him if he can. finally the Tempests are starting to whittle away at these structures. Using the Mothership Core as a spotter.
He's just zoning him out. He knows that as soon as those corruptors come close, he can work against them with the storms. He has everything set up, but...
I can't believe he's actually just going to let 2 of those Tempests die to corruptors when he has storms and stalkers. That was a bit weird.
I don't think he focused on the map. He focused to the top right, where we have another Warp Prism moving in.
Huge warp in here, and he's definitely getting the Infestation Pit this time.
Those Hydra, those Mutalisks are just way too lazy. They attack a bit too late, and the Zealots will do a lot of damage here, taking out the spawning pool, immediately being rebuilt by YugiOh.
He could go for the Hive, decides not to. Goes for the Greater Spire, not the second Spire, which will stop +2 Carapace. Needs to micro those Colossi a little bit better. Good storm on not only the Corruptors, but also the Locusts.
Getting a lot of damage done. Once again, Paralyze dropping to 160 supply, but the Zealots in the main base doing a great job.
Mutalisks alone don't cut it here. It takes too long to kill the Zealots. He's losing a lot of tech.
Took down the Greater Spire, the Infestation Pit. We have a double Infestation Pit being built, another Spire being built, a Greater Spire being rebuilt. And he still has 3,000 minerals and 1,000 gas.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to believe. I mean, he wants to make sure that he has those investors no matter what.
Yeah, he should open up a Swiss bank account and put all that money to the side before he has to turn into Texas. Here we go again with the Infested Terrans, taking out another Tempest here.
And a good Broodlord hits on the side, as well as the Infested Terrans. Paralyze is starting to run out of steam here.
Oh yeah, he definitely is. He's running low on money. But he still has mining going on. The economy is way better for YugiOh though.
Yeah, and he killed a lot with the Warp Prism, but the tech didn't matter because YugiOh already had the maxed army, so he had time to just rebuild his tech. It's not like he was like, oh, suddenly I need a bunch of Zerglings. He never had to worry about that. And
YugiOh has a lot of patience here. He's just spreading the creep forward towards the 4th base and just repositions the Spine Crawlers and the Swarm Host the entire time.
And Paralyze can't really kill any of the bases because YugiOh has too much static defense, so even with Warp-ins from a Warp Prism, there's not a whole lot that he can get done here.
I'm still surprised that he doesn't get any, like none at all, Vipers. I think the only reason why he doesn't get them is he fears that against the Templars it's no use.
Well, you know, if Paralyze keeps giving them away like this, I guess he doesn't need Vipers to kill the Tempest.
He's doing well so far with the Corruptors, especially since they are heavily upgraded, and the only reason to not get Vipers is if you are afraid that they will be feedback right away.
Well, this is a great position for YugiOh. He can finally move into an attack. A ton of Infested Terran beach balls being thrown.
There's so many Infested Terrans right now. YugiOh is moving in with everything that he has, trying to take out the last Colossus and also the Tempest here.
Storm's going down, but they're only buying time.
So many Infestors here.
The Broodlords as well, there's no real answer for those.
Yeah, he's just pushing his way in, and suddenly we have the Protoss player down to 120 supply, going to lose his 4th base.
His base is going to be gone. He's losing his bank as well. He's at 500, 400 versus 5,000, 1,000.
Losing Infestor energy, another Tempest already gone. All those High Templars are done for.
And, you know, there's a few bundles left here on those Infestors, so he can actually just slow this push down. He can't really break down the ramp.
The Protoss is running out of steam. We have 180 supply against 72, 5,000 minerals, 1,000 gas. YugiOh is on his way to claim victory in this first game of the best of 3.
Now, Protoss is looking like an Afro out of a fresh shower right now. And this is the end. He doesn't really have much he can do with these Stalkers against all the free units, the Broodlords, the Swarm Hosts, and he's going to type out.
YugiOh's patience is paying off here. He's forcing his opponent further back. Paralyze is trying to set up a last stand, but this is not an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie.
No, it's not. GG. Well,
YugiOh with a 1-0 lead in the series.
Not a whole lot done wrong by YugiOh in that game. He had a little bit of a lack of defense in his main, but otherwise he totally dominated Paralyze there.
Paralyze now down 1 game. Daybreak, not the turf where he was able to be victorious. The Root Gaming player with a great job here. A lot of patience, very solid performance here by him.
Yeah, YugiOh just taking some pages out of all the players who know how to play late games book. He's looking at the plays that we just saw from him is what I expected to see from Curious actually in the previous series.
Yeah, it was not the most attractive style that he was showing us there, but it was a very effective one, and he didn't leave himself open to a lot of attacks. The one problem that he had was the Warp Prison to the top right. That definitely cost him a few nerfs, and I feel if he keeps those Mutalisks on a scouting and patrol pattern, he should be able to shut the Warp Prison down before it can warp in Zealots. But besides that, he did so well in this game.
Yeah, not a lot of mistakes. And the number one word here, I think, is calm. YugiOh was able to remain calm throughout everything that he was dealing with.
You know, in the mid-game, in the late mid-game, for a few minutes I thought that he might fall apart a little bit. It looked like Afro Toss or Paralyze was able to get back into the game, but YugiOh never lost his composure. Now he's heading into the second match. Can he take it with a 2-0, or will we see a third game? Paralyze up against YugiOh, the GSL Korea with Colin Wolf.